Hello, I'm Tim Barnwell, and welcome to the Face of Appalachia. I first tasted Angie Chambers' black walnut cake at a homecoming at Arrington Branch Baptist Church here in western North Carolina, and I fell in love with it right then. It's a prized dessert in this community, and folks will tell you, if you're lucky enough to taste one, you're truly blessed. Today, Angie has agreed to show us how she makes her famous pound cake and shares how it was passed down through her family, and we'll see how it's carried into the community through her acts of giving and service. Along the way, we'll also take a look at the history of the black walnut and why it's played such an important role in Appalachian life.
I know that everything's got its own way, nature. And I've seen these squirrels take them walnuts, and I don't understand. That's hard. That hull's hard. I've seen them cut them all to pieces with their teeth. And they know there's something good in there. If they didn't know there's something good in there, they won't be a chewing on that hull, would they? No, sir.
Hello, my name's Angie Chambers, and today I'm going to make you a black walnut pound cake, and I'm using my Aunt Catherine's recipe. So I really learned it from my mom, but it's my Aunt Catherine's recipe.
And so how long have you been making this?
Probably since, I really started making them when my mom passed away in 2014, so it kind of went from there. Oven to 350. Okay. So the first thing I do is take my cake mix out and my pudding mix. I'll put them in first. There's no order. I just like to put my cake mix in first. Put my pudding mix in. And then I put my oil in.
So you have one mark for the
One mark for the oil and one mark, because my measuring cup's pretty old, so.
And you're adding club soda?
And I'm adding club soda. And then the last thing I put in is my eggs. Put my eggs in. And I just crack them over and hope there's no shells go in. No, just kidding. That's the last thing I put in. Put it on my mixer. Take my beater. Put it on.
So you're going to add some of your crushed walnuts in there.
And I use about a cup. So I usually put a half a cup at a time, or a cup. It doesn't matter. And then I'll just mix it back up a little bit more and then pour it in my pan. Okay, so while the mix is mixing in the mixer, I usually just spray my pan with Pam, or you can buy the no stick stuff, but I usually put a heavy coat on it just to make sure it doesn't stick. Just give it a good mix. And then I just pour it in my pan. Shake that around a little bit, and then I'll put it in the oven and bake it at 350 for about 55 minutes. Depending on your pan, this pan is darker, so maybe 50 minutes, just as long as it's real golden brown and spongy when you take it out. My other pan I have is a lighter pan, so I usually do it for 55 minutes, but I usually set a timer. And that's about it.
So once you've let it set and cool, what's the next step?
So then you just make sure it's gonna come out without sticking, and there you go, onto the plate. And that's the black walnut pound cake.
Because black walnuts were free and flavorful, they became a prized ingredient in cookies, fudge, holiday treats, and cakes, and I've never had one as good as Angie's. Black walnut trees have long been an important part of Appalachian life, providing food, home remedies, natural dyes, and valuable wood. From treasured family recipes and dyeing hair to staining baskets and furniture, the black walnut has always been a tree of many uses. Found wild throughout the Appalachian Mountains, black walnuts were one of the region's free, calorie-dense foods. Each fall, families gathered them from yards, roadsides, and hills, their thick green husk staining hands for days. Black walnuts have a distinct flavor and are not to be confused with the more common English walnut, mostly grown in California, that you find in grocery stores in bags of halves and pieces. While visiting Angie's father, Ken Parker, I asked him and family friend Janice Caldwell about their own memories of using walnuts in the old days.
All right, we're going to crack a walnut or two like they done in the old days. And well, it's looking good. I'll do it the old-timey way. Boy, they're the good. Mama used to crack them and sell them to the peddler. There's a woman lives over on Spillcorn. I don't know where she still cracks them or not, but a year or two ago she cracked I don't know how many quarts of black walnuts and sold them. And I don't know why I'd sell them or not. I'd probably eat them.
I guess this is a real staple for family farms growing up.
It was, yeah. There used to be a lot of people when I was a boy. I don't know how many peddlers it was. There's 4 I know of in Madison County. They went through the country. They'd buy walnuts, people crack walnuts and sell them peddlers. And they'd buy eggs, chickens, and that's the way they got their money. They didn't have all this money we got today. They had to do a little something other to get the money.
Well, I'm Janice Caldwell from Big Pine. And when I was a child, my mama met the peddler. We called it the peddler. And she sold eggs, chickens. She would even sell butter. And, that gave us a little money to buy groceries. Then she would buy sugar and coffee back with the money. She would crack walnuts at night and sell them to the peddler. Mm-hmm.
So that you would just sit around the table at home?
No, we cracked them in the living room in the floor. Mm-hmm.
So just a bunch of you get around and put a blanket out or
My
something?
mama mostly done it. Yeah. My mom was a worker. Great, good mother. Yes, she was. Yeah.
So what else do you remember using walnuts for around the farm?
Well, now, Mom would make cakes, walnut cakes. Yeah.
Is that something you enjoyed as a child?
Oh, yes, yeah. And chocolate candy and put walnuts in it was good, too.
So now, did you ever have one of Angie's walnut cakes?
Oh, yes, and they are delicious. Really good.
So kind of a special treat.
Yeah, it's a special treat. Maybe she'll give you one. She makes good walnut cakes. Really good.
Angie's cakes are great for sure. If you believe stories like this matter, stories about cooking, family, and keeping Appalachian traditions alive, the simplest way you can help is by subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button. It's free, but it makes a real difference in helping us keep going. You can also help through our GoFundMe by scanning the code on the screen. And please tell your friends and family about what we're doing here. If you have a favorite recipe or use for black walnuts, we'd love to hear about them. So be sure to keep sharing your thoughts and memories with us in the comments below.
Here we go.
Most all the shut-ins in the community get one of Angie's black walnut pound cakes. If somebody new comes to church, they come one Sunday and the next Sunday they have a black walnut pound cake. And
Good recruitment.
Last week, we have a new lady, and I was listening in on the conversation. Angie took her a small black walnut pound cake, and we had Christmas caroling this past Sunday. So we had soup in the fellowship hall before we Christmas caroled, and she said, "Could I buy one of those black walnut pound cakes from you?" She said, "I ate mine before I got home with it." She said, "I started pinching on it in the car and I ate it before I got home with it." And she said, "No, you can't buy one, but I'll make you one and give it to you."
Older people who know about picking up black walnuts and cracking them out, it brings back memories to them. I gave a lady a cake the other day, and she said it just brought back memories. And her mother has Alzheimer's, and so she had taken her a piece of the cake, and she said that she said her mom, she can't remember short term, but she has long term memory. So she had talked about picking up walnuts and cracking them and all that, and she said it was just a sweet memory for them. So that, that made it all worth it. Just making the cake was to hear that. So I have really good friends and neighbors and church folk who will leave black walnuts in my car. They'll go to Sam's and get a couple bags of black walnuts, or they'll leave 10 boxes of cake mix in my car or whatever. So they know that I'm gonna make cakes or whatever, so they'll leave all that stuff in my car for me. So
That sounds like a good investment if they can get a return like that.
It's been a while since I've had one of these. They get all given away before the family gets them,
You're
Tim.
last on the list.
Yeah, we're the last on the list for sure. She takes them everywhere, and it's been a while since I've had some, so it's very good.
I'm good.
And your dad's used to crack some of the walnuts for you, right?
Yeah. Well, from Mom, he always cracked walnuts from Mom,
Yeah.
and she would bake them. And at that time, you couldn't really. Well, you could get them in the store, but they were a lot more expensive. And so he would crack them out for her, and she'd bake black walnut cakes and give them away.
Mom was a pastor's wife, and she started baking the black walnut pound cakes. But while she was sick, Ange baked probably close to 30, didn't we, Ange? Everybody that would come, the pastor would, one of my dad's pastor friends would call and say they were coming, and she would say, and she called them walnut cakes, didn't she, Ange? She didn't call them black walnut cakes, she called them walnut cakes. And she would say, girls, before she got really sick, she would have baked them, and they'd be in the kitchen, wouldn't they, Angie? And she'd say, girls, go in there and get so-and-so a walnut cake to take home with them. She'd send it home with them to their wives.
So do you hope that someone else in your family will carry this tradition on?
Well, I have boys, so they probably won't carry it on. And I don't know about my nieces and nephews, probably not. But I mean, it would be nice, yeah. I mean, it would be nice to carry, not necessarily the cake, but just the giving, whether it's a cake or something else, just the fact that you think about somebody else or whatever.
Yeah. So this is not only a way of sharing food with other people, but it's just a way of giving to someone else, and something that you're able to do and share.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that can take many forms, with people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's her heart. It's just the giving part.
Yeah.
She can turn these out by the dozens, but it's seeing her give them is that's what she loves.
Well, I have you a cake also to take
wonderful.
with you. You and Scott a cake to take with you. So.
Oh, okay. Then I'll take you up on that.
Okay. Here you go. One for the road.
All right. Well, thank you. This is wonderful.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I want to unwrap it or not. I'm sure I will.
I'm sure you will.
All right.
You'll have to eventually, right?
Yeah. I appreciate it.